That's why I'm motivated to try and get some of this done. So I know, love Borderlands. We just went on an epic, pretentious rant about archiving Borderlands, but I also really want to play Outriders. But I don't want to just sit on this content. We're so close to having this epic Zane playthrough complete. Miss Parker! What the hell's up, Miss Parker? Look who it is. The Jungles of Eden 6 provide a fresh mystery for Ava's Supernatural podcast. Mysterious Lure, The Vanishing of He's in Maze. I'll try to pay more attention this time.
Someone's gone missing! Okay, that's
Miss
bad news.
Parker! What the hell is up, Miss Parker? How did the interview go at the Glass Bong Factory?
Clay will meet you there.
We need to look at the anoint rerolls.
Don't shoot! I mean...
I'm gonna guess Maurice is down here. I think Maurice is the one who does it. Oh wait, no, it's gonna be in Claptrap's room.
Hey there!
Yes, the perfect emote. You will die over and over. Oh no, this is the raid boss. Nice. Over and over. I feel like this took a little too long to come to the game because as soon as I grabbed it, I felt that nostalgia and it felt good. Hell yeah, a raid boss. I appreciate takedowns, I really do. But it feels nice to have a raid boss again. They can both live together in peace. I'd love to see one more takedown with flesh enemies. A COV. I want a COV takedown so it's not all shields and acid.
Come in.
Where is the reroll system? I'm sure it's with Earl. It can't be. I'm getting awful peaked. I'm getting awful peaked. This is all supposed to be quests, and I guess it is. Looks like it probably is. Just hanging out, had a migraine all day. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope they don't make the bongs. I was just joking, because you said it was more than bongs. They sell smoking other accessories in Kratom. Wait, Kratom is legal in Washington? What? Well, hoping to hear back from them. Good. I'm glad to hear it. CBD products. GG, Miss Parker. I'm happy to hear it. Good on you, Miss Parker. Proud of you. Proud of you. Well done. I'm happy to hear it. Where's your reroll system, Earl? Oh, here it is. Are you still here, Gunner, or did I lose you in the giant pretentious rant? Here, let's change this. Would you like to spend iridium? Yes, 250. Perfect. That was literally exactly what I wanted. It's just that simple. You put it on the wall, you spend iridium. Could they have added that earlier? Yes, absolutely. I'm still the most excited about the thing that I'll probably fail to use the most, which is the VIP card. But it gives us something to do. Bongs. That should just be, you know what? That's going in the quotes, Miss Parker. Now, when I can talk without mucus shooting out the back of my throat, it's going to be a glorious day. And I'm going to turn to quote 416, Miss Parker, which says simply, bongs. Long gone. Can't say I blame him. Oh, you should totally check out the Discord, because freaking Maltroff made a super epic intro thing. I need to get some of this shit in the bank. Which I said in basic slow-mo. Well, let's go to my sister's for the weekend, so that'll be nice. Miss Parker's got a weekend alone. Now young son flies in from Ohio.
Ah, there you are.
He starts to date Miss Parker. They lean in for the kiss. He gets ADHD and he walks away. Miss Parker says, "Never again, Adam. Never again." As a single tear runs down her cheek. That was the same day the Battleborn servers died. Oh, hey, he's got those frozen pieces to review. Shit, you're right. What am I thinking, Wilso? Truly, I've lost it. Look at that damage on that muck-a-buck. Too bad none of it matters. It's all about builds. No one can still figure out why the hell the Nighthawk is sometimes ×3 and other times is not. I kept that literally just because I don't know if it works, like, well. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I'm not throwing it away till I know. Hard pass, as in, you're into it. I do have a date for some drinks with an old friend tomorrow. Oh, Bohan. Bohan's finally getting it. Bohan loses that big V card tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Posted on the Snapchat. Like, follow, comment, hip thrust that like button. Eden 6, start the quests. Start it, maybe finish it, I hope. Probably last episode, because the NyQuil's getting right on top of my ass, and the sinuses are turning me into a mucus machine, and ain't nobody want to hear that. I will probably, because it's thunderstorming, I'm not going to walk, grind a little bit more Outriders when it's rough here. Probably sit here with one eye open and try to get like 2 more levels. Yeah, you better be no hands or it's Ron Jeremy time. By which I mean he's gonna die in prison. And by the 9 divines down the road, it's the Daedra. Dude on me yesterday or today, we beefing. You're beefing? Over what? Let me guess. He wiped standing up. You wipe sitting down. He wiped standing up. Max shields are full. Absorb ammo. Not a bad stopgap.
Come see me again. You won't regret it. Always a pleasure.
An old friend. And it isn't young son? No.
Didn't anyone see you going to fight? You're dead.
Because I called him and snapped. And snapped him, no response. Oh, Bohan, how could he? Is he okay? He was back to streaming there for a while, Miss Barker. What happened? I feel like that grind gets on top of everybody anymore. I'm just gonna spin in circles mostly. Which way do you want me to go? Oh, yeah, there we go. New area. Another new, maybe new area. I don't know. This looks familiar. Oh, oh, he works so much. Oh, a Bohan. He works at Jersey Mike's, right? A friend. Ooh. Oh man. Oh. Miss Parker's gonna get some. Now let me go ahead and get the pregame. Let me set the mood by listening to the sound of me blowing my nose over and over again. It works at Dirty Mike's with the boys. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Jersey Mike's with the fucking boys. Working at Dirty Mike's with the boys. I like it. Hippity hoppity hoppity hippity.
I
Action skill, cooldown rate, 20%, short time. Not terrible, but I believe it's movement speed. There is a movement speed. Oh my god, we can reroll annoyance now. Holy shit. This is the one shield where it's like, yes. Excuse me. Struggling hard. Movement speed increased when shield is busted. Do I really need to buy this? No, but I'm going to. Just because. Oh, it's Hammerlock. Oh, that ain't Hammerlock. It's generic other Hammerlock.
Today we're talking to Clay. He's a slugger, quick with a pistol. We don't know what's under those goggles, but this supernatural reporter suspects it's a mischievous glint.
It's a glint.
When she's right, she's right. Here's the rub. Friend of mine, his'n, he's disappeared. He left me this message.
Hey, gone on vacation, 2 weeks. It's Bohan. Miss Parker, leave a message. Don't beef with me.
This might be the last time I can own my words, Clay, so I'm using it to say goodbye. I made a pact with someone. And though I earn my dark wages with darker toil, I fear the only work they now desire is my final silence. If you need answers, come to my cabin.
You catch anything in there that makes sense to you?
I tried to back away from the mic, but judging from the meter, it's not
That's a
working.
loaded word around these
So
parts.
sorry.
Comes with all sorts of implications.
Supernatural implications?
For some, I only trust what my eyes and ears tell me. But if his'n says he's in trouble, we gotta find him and free him from this pact, natural or otherwise.
So are these just kind of filler quests? I mean, to try to make us like eat Ava? I'm not like totally understanding
With your shot tomorrow,
this content
The road won't make a path for us on his own time. We have
at
to
this
cut
stage
off
of the game. I guess it's an excuse to go back and visit some old planets. It introduces some new areas. But unless this is setting the stage for like something bigger in the future, which I really doubt, I'm not entirely sure I understand. Some character development for Ava, yeah. I mean, there'll probably be one more Borderlands 3 DLC right before 4 comes out. He didn't call you on Easter? How could he? The hell is Bohan on? Are you in debt to own back to talking every day? I did that for the sake of the Novus. I'm thinking it didn't work. Diving into the middle of this is not my best decision ever. I'm not sure what they're going for here. They know that the fans don't like Ava. I don't fuck with Ava. I don't know. I see what they're trying to do from a storytelling perspective. They still did my dirty though. We're at a point now where really the people left over are the hardcore, the in-gamers, the long haulers. I'm not sure that they want quests that don't give them anything. A little bit of story, but the story seems really good. It doesn't have any implications so far. There's quite a few quests on the overall story of the world. There doesn't seem to be any implications on endgame or builds. Keep me up, shithead. What happened between you two there, Miss Parker? He ignored your phone calls? Hopefully it's building to something bigger. So right now I'm not really getting it. I thought I got water. I didn't get water. And I definitely should have dove in there. But sniping at this mayhem level doesn't do shit, so. I was dead so freaking fast. Hey, AI, give me AI. We're both. Our backs are to a wall. You can do it. Yeah, if you're gonna add some new quests, definitely add some legendaries for me. Absolutely. AI, you can get it. Oh my God. Some new, unique legendaries, like what they did with the Lilith Battle for Sanctuary DLC before Borderlands 2 was out. Last Borderlands 2 DLC. This is probably the last Borderlands 3 DLC. You put development time and resources into these side quests. Again, not finished yet, and it's always cool to have more, but it seems like this should have been a more that was added a lot earlier in the game's life cycle. He's just chilling. So far.
Spit blood.
Where is the big guy at? Fish love. Oh, it's in. They did a loot thing long ago. What is above me? 'Cause whatever's above me. Yeah, I kind of just don't like in Borderlands that. It's just chaos. Either your build is working to clear out the chaos, or it's not, and you're just dead. And that to me is just not a good shooter. Diablo is from the top down, so Diablo 3 can get away with that shit. Borderlands is still a shooter. It can't just copy Diablo. It never could. It could always like take its systems, which it always did, but then had to say, okay, what if that was in a shooter? Borderlands 3 just straight up says, no, we're gonna cut Diablo now and do this. Just chaos. It's 100% either you got a build that works or you don't, and that's just all there is to it. The shooting plays very, very little role. Seems like between major DLC release type content, yes, so far definitely. I feel like they probably could have gave us some more a while back. That was, they just added a board. Oh, you can just kind of done that the whole time, right? You still don't have cutscenes skipping. I'm trying not to shit on the patch. I want to be happy with the patch. Seek Italian was like, yeah, the patch is good, but he also hasn't played in a while. And I've basically stayed up to date on the game. This is it. I don't know. That it's feeling a lot like the Battleborn final patch right now. It's still more than we had. To be fair, people buy $20 skins on Fortnite. I just can't stay completely yet. I'm trying not to be passive, boys. Obviously, I'm leaning towards shooting on it. Feels like stuff that caused it out a while ago, and I know the water fanatics some really good patches up here lately. That far exceeding what the Gearbox has been doing per game for everything else. I want you to jump around, but if you jump around, your feet get shot, and you're dead. Yo, young son, what up, Adam? Oh, we're just talking about it now. What do you think about it? Did you log in to play? I mean, I logged out yesterday from the shit that I was talking about, which is like, oh, that's how my dad gets up to the top of the guy. Just too much chaos on the battlefield, just randomly dying, just starts to piss me off. There's such an emphasis on chaos over shooting. You live and die by your build. Just a little too much. I like I mean, granted, I've always wanted it to be more RPG than shooter, but this feels like I should be playing a top-down game and clicking the screen right now. I don't know that my shooting is having very much impact. It's all about the freaking build. I think they could have added an anointment reroll a long ass time ago. It's really boring. You pay 250 iridium and it just rerolls it. You know what they could have done? Added a list. Just like mayhem modifiers should be a list. Select which ones you want and then you're good. Lock them in. Because it's just arbitrary time sync to get to the exact same place anyway. Like that. Like, what the fuck killed him? Tell me. He's the only guy around. He's the only guy around. Nothing else was shooting at me. We're sitting there critting him, and yet I went down in the middle of that. There's some guys behind us. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not enough. Yeah, they added Zur, right? I've played yet been watching stuff before. I should have been the game earlier. They added Zur, which is really weird, but fine. Yeah, I see Battalion was like, new patch is good, and my take on that, Adam, is Battalion hasn't played the game in over a year. He quit, he didn't even play through the DLC, so him coming to the game now saying the patch is good is like him playing 2 years of patches.
I can crack it now.
For those of us that kept playing the game through the DLCs, through all the patches, I've taken very few like breaks from this game where I just like stopped. I've always basically stayed up to date on it. So when I look at it in terms of, oh, I haven't played the game for 2 years, the patch is good. Well, yeah, you're getting 2 years of patches in DLC. When I look at the game from, I played the Arms Race patch and played Arms Race a bunch.
More vines. Time to get cutting.
It's shit that normally would have been, and the Borderlands 2 life cycle would have come out as a free patch, but got bundled in a Season 2 because it was probably the only way that they could justify giving us more content, because they've all moved on to Borderlands 4. And we're doing Ava side quests, which all add new areas to all the vanilla planets, but Wilson and I were just discussing that it has very little impact on the game at this stage. This is like year one stuff. This is like 6 months into the game, there's a DLC coming out in 3 months, here's something to hold you over. Not 2 years later, the only people left playing are the endgamers, the long haulers, the diehards. Here's Ava's missions. I'm cool with them, I'm not complaining, but where they've released this content at in the life cycle of Borderlands is leaving me confuzzled. The raid boss is dope. I haven't fought it yet, but just like getting to click on a raid boss and seeing that you will die over and over instantly filled me with nostalgia. And I just felt like, wow, we probably should have had a raid boss a long time ago, like nearly all these other stuff, like anointment rerolls. Probably could have been in the game a long time ago. But it's all been pre-scripted. They've had this long done. I actually really like the VIP card system. I think they should have released this in the middle of the first season pass. And we could have been busy on this. I should have never listened to Mac when he's like, I saved the game. He didn't save the game. They have a right to monetize. It's a business. That would have given us something to do. I'm glad that content exists. But I'm not glad that it exists when the game is effectively gonna... It's gonna go on straight up maintenance life support mode. You know, at night, Adam, sometimes Borderlands 2, Wilson showed me, has less viewers than State of Decay 2. You explained that to me. Borderlands 3 is one of the biggest launches of a generation. State of Decay 2 is older, with a smaller budget, a AA game. And yet at night, that's just where we're at. And a lot of that's because of this corporate scheme of, well, we have to get the content out at precisely 3 loops, which has also meant that the balance has been out just completely weird throughout this game's life cycle. This game never got situated in balance. Every time you thought you had it figured out, they'd go through and they'd either up the level cap, or they'd completely fundamentally change the balance of the game and put you right back on the hamster wheel, which was, of course, the intent. I love level cap increases, but they knew from the beginning it was going to stop at 65. They just timed it out so that they could get spikes in the player base every time the cap would go up, and everybody would have to go out and grind again. This just feels like they tried to gamify the whole live service content patch cycle, which is kind of good for the devs because then they know what they're going to look forward to, but it's also not good because there's no magic in it. It feels right now like we were always going to end up right where we are right now. Or just that Borderlands 3 is good enough. It's good enough.
That's one way to make
And they're
it.
never going to want to make it more. And it'll never be less. But this is it. This was the game that was a decade in the making.
Our co-host in the field begins their investigation.
And I think even before it, you have the
Someone's recently lost some blood.
pre-scripted, this is when this will come out, so that we get peak concurrent players on March the 5th, which is good for our shareholders. And we'll hold them for 2 months, and we'll do sponsored content with Board Streamer X and Board Streamer Z.
Hism must have left quick. I'll have to pick up his trail once we suss out what happened here.
It was always going to be this way because Borderlands 3 was going to always be overhyped. Looks cool. There's going to be a game called Hades. Oh, Hades. I've been seeing that you play that.
No,
Isometric
not a
like
clue.
Diablo, but it's action-based. You can choose which modifiers, like more enemy damage, harder bosses, etc. Do you like it, Wilso? I saw it came out for the Switch. I don't know anything about it besides what you just told me. Miss Parker, to him and his mind is about the phone call to me. It was the way he hung up on me and told me I'm a needy bitch. And that's weird to sit on the phone and talk. Death to Own said you're a needy bitch? That's a bit brutal, isn't it? That seems brutal to me. I don't know why you'd say that. Why didn't he? I mean, I don't want to get in between you two, and I like you both, and you're both my friends, so fuck. I don't know, man. He could have just said goodbye, though. Like, I gotta go, I'm busy. Maybe you caught him at a bad time, but I definitely regret even commenting on it now. I know I shouldn't get between that. I'm busy jerking it. Yeah, yeesh. That's too much. That's too much. I was driving, sorry. Are you good, Miss Parker? I was ranting, so. Yeah, they copied Zero with Maurice, and I'll bet you 50 cents, Adam, that the legendaries that they put in Maurice's vending machine aren't even that good. Like, they're like, it's gonna have the best legendaries in the game. Oh. But let's be honest, do we really think that Gearbox is that in tune with the balance of their game, judging from all the balance patches up to this point, to really know what is the best? They probably have the metrics for what's the most used, but what builds are really working? The only time that Gearbox has done, like, balance patches that were beloved is when they would nerf meme guns. Like, the moment the law became the meta for a brief moment before its inevitable nerf. It took it too far. I'd rather not. It was like 2:30 in the morning, and I'm just saying, like, the way he talked to me was out of line. I would like an apology. I like you both. You're both my friends. I don't think he should have called you a needy bitch. And as a man, I'll stand on that. He shouldn't have called you a needy bitch.
I love a good bookshelf.
But I'm not going to get between two friends, and I obviously should know more context. But still, don't think he should have called you that. Seems wrong to me. Hades is great. Love it as almost as Risk of Rain 2. Really? Is it on Game Pass? I played the shit out of it on PC and Switch. It's great. It's roguelike. Definitely look into it. Love roguelikes. Been pleasantly surprised to love roguelikes.
Damn it, locked. We were only just getting to the.
Can't wait for Atomic Crops to get its update, so we can finally go back to that for a few minutes. For a series. But we're like 5 patches behind the PC at this point. Console is.
Safe room to get away from whoever's after him. Oh, looks like they're going first.
That's what I was afraid of. Yeah, I found this echo log. Could tell us something.
Post nasal drip. Can't stop it. Wilson says, Gearbox, balance for Gearbox means if the stats say people are doing this thing too much, then nerf it. I would love to be able to disagree with you. But I can't.
I'll fight you to the edge of ruin.
Okay, you know what I'm thinking now? 50 Cent said this is going to have an ending. All these different
Forget the voice.
separate murder mysteries are going to tie together, and we're gonna get actually a meaty piece of information about the future of
Looks like they
Borderlands.
dragged him out this way.
Anything less, and
Our co-host
I
is
don't
ill.
get why they did what they're doing.
Is he still
Anything
alive?
less than that
We can only hope.
is going to be a
Was he
disappointment.
kidnapped by a demon? Almost definitely.
Nobody does bullets better than Marcus Munitions. When you need a dose of the red stuff, come find me.
Did I ever sell my junk?
You've got enemies, and I've got ammo. Oh, there's a
I don't
place
expect you to. I enjoy him as a person, but just went too far. Yeah. And I probably shouldn't have even commented on it, but I will say, like I said, I will stand by what I said. And I'm not going to bring it up to him, obviously. What happened to Adam? Oh, here he is. I was going to say, Adam had to have said something during that rant. Yeah, it seemed like a lot of people who took huge breaks are liking it. Others, like us, it's good, but a lot of shit needed to be in earlier. Yes. I agree. Man, Gathalion's been out of the Borderlands loop for a long time because he's got Stockholm Syndrome when it comes to Destiny, and we can sit here and talk as much shit as we want. Look, he's a good guy. He was a real pioneer for the Borderlands community. He's been a really good role model, and he's been a really good face for the Borderlands community. Okay, I respect him a lot as a fellow streamer and everything, but he's just like Bro Man, who we aren't allowed to talk shit about. Got just a massive hard-on for Bungie and Destiny, and there was never any bringing them back. Because once you're in that Destiny content loop, you got a raid every week, you got a Nightfall every week, and you got to stay up on the DLCs, and now you got to stay up on the Season Pass. You got to defend whatever the latest drama is, because we all know nobody dramas like Destiny. Destiny has the best drama. You ain't coming back to this. You're not coming back to a game that just lets you fucking farm and you can be done with it in a week if you want to be. Because that hamster wheel, behavioral psychology bullshit is addicting. And that's the problem with it. There's good in it. It can be really fun. But it's also bad addicting. Gambling style addicting. They literally hired behavioral psychologists so that people would make it into a habit, spending more money and run on the hamster wheel longer. And some people were smart enough to turn that into a business. And God bless them for that way, figuring it out. But you ain't gonna get them back. Not unless you use some of the same systems. Now, they would probably readily disagree with me. In fact, Italians seem to get pretty pissed at me. They probably like you son of a bitch who lives in here. And I just say, look, man, you do the same thing to other people. Someone even tries to contradict your opinion, you fucking go off on them. And you helped kill the pre-sequel, and now you say that the pre-sequel was the shit, that you loved the storytelling. You didn't. Borderlands is in its own place now. There was no getting the old gang back from Borderlands 2. Maru made a big show of being like, I'm back, baby. We back. But you know where they win? The game wasn't good enough for all that. The world had moved on. When you release Borderlands, the quality of life sequel, Borderlands 2, the quality of life patch, when Destiny 2 exists and all these amazing indie games exist, the looter shooter genres continue to evolve, and there's this vision now. Reroll should have been in the Halloween M4 update. Reroll should have been there at launch. Reroll should have been there at launch. Because I don't know what would have pulled him up the way it came in. It's not like this super cool system. Like, they didn't do anything. You just reroll the anoint. That's all it is. It's just a reroll machine. It's not like, they could have done it like, really cool. Here's two things I would have done right off the top of my head. It's just like Arms Race all over again, Adam, where it's like, it's good, but they don't go the extra mile. They literally just stop. Off the top of my head, one, a list of all anoints. Okay, I don't know, make it cost 1,000 iridium, but I get to put exactly what mod I want on there. You know what would really make it cool and make it meaningful? You can now combine anoints. If you spend a shit ton of iridium, you can put more than one anoint on a gun. Or you can combine an anoint. Where normally, like on action skill active, you do so many novas. You can combine that with the on action skill end. So it becomes on action skill start, you do 100% more incendiary damage instead of on action skill end, you do 100% incendiary damage. So you can, because they always have a condition and then an effect. That's exactly how anointments work. There's a condition and there's an effect. The condition is on action skill start, just like in programming. If action skill is active, then trigger this effect. Okay, then let us change the effect and let us change the trigger. No, they just put in a reroller. This is a AAA game from a big company, and that would mean less if it wasn't Gearbox and it wasn't Borderlands. The looter shooter genre, this probably billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar genre, is their baby. Yeah, it starts with Diablo, and it goes even before Diablo. You got the first of this Dungeons and Dragons, RPGs in general. Looter shooter's theirs. If Black Sabbath is the godfather of metal, then Borderlands is the godfather of the looter shooter. They quit innovating right now. That's what's going on. It's like Steve Jobs talked about with Apple. He said he was glad to leave Apple because he knew they would stop innovating, and he knew when he got back there, he could really run the place because they'd be desperate to innovate again. Gearbox made Battleborn. It was a kick-ass freaking video game that went super underappreciated. They took a bunch of risks, and I went on a massive rant about this, and I'm not going to go there again. It didn't do well financially. They got cold feet. 2K said, we need a winner. Picked me out a winner, Billy. They gave him a winner, and it's Borderlands. You just stick the Borderlands name on it, it's going to sell. The franchise has a lot of respect. It has a lot of good feelings around it. And there was so much hype around the third game. And they gave them what they wanted. And they said, look, we just need to get back to ground base. We need to get back to our roots, back to our territory. We got to play it safe. So they released Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2, the quality of life patch. And then they're so ready for Gathalion to love them. Like, here's a good patch. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. I'm telling you, I respect the hell out of these people as fellow streamers and everything. Like, I don't begrudge them in the least. But I also think that they're not the best arbiters of information. They have the inside track. They can literally talk to the devs. They've got that set up on the Discord. Anybody in the Borderlands stream team can talk to the devs and tell them what's going on. But 80% of the people that are on the Borderlands stream team don't play it anymore. Mac was always keeping it real, right? More, you know, Adam, we were both more than Afterkill fans, but he kept it way too real. Moving up. He made it. He went too far in his criticisms. He made that shit personal. And he leaked. That wasn't, like, he was probably the best hope we had as far as just, like, being honest. You knew that he would actually play the game. So, and then what ends up happening is you depend on it too much, right? But I'm going to catch up. That's the community drama. There's not a full episode waiting to happen. Absolutely. With the...
Shoot him dead!
Sound audience machine in the background and all, and scripted episodes. I'm still never understand why they nerfed Gior because of arms race. Pretty freaking stupid. Pretty damn stupid. That thing that basically nobody cares about because it's also half-baked. You know, it's gone from the heliophage method to the arms race conclusion. And the arms race conclusion is, we'll always take it so far, but no further.
This way.
Yeah, we could have made the annoying reroll system really sweet. We could have looked at what's already been done in the Division with its reroll system and its workbenches, and look at what's going on right now with Outriders and its crafting system. And we could have looked at even Anthem's crafting system with the anomaly, and you go and you get legendary shards and you get to craft higher tiered loot. Because guess what? You should also be able to infuse guns with iridium. There's a third idea that would go ahead and take that shit up a notch. Because in Anthem, a completely failed game at this point, you can get more powerful legendaries by infusing them with anomaly shards that allows you to go up even higher in your gear score than what you could go ordinarily. That's it. What we have is you put your gun on the wall and you press A button. Put your gun on the wall and you press A button. You tell me that took 2 years. Tell me that took 2 years. Gearbox and Borderlands. Borderlands is estimated to be worth over $1 billion as a franchise. If you were to sell the franchise. Something's going on. We also know that Gearbox just got acquired. What's going on? Honest to God, what's going on? Because their games had so much spirit and so much soul with Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2 and Battleborn. And they were always trying new ideas and they were always taking really cool risks. And I thought that they really had a formula. Remember Randy said that they would have made Risk Arrangement. He's right. That Gearbox would have made Risk Arrangement. They would have. This is not a bad game, and I respect the devs and I respect the art form, and I know this takes a hell of a lot of work. This is not a bad game. It's a good game. It's ethically, on an ethics standpoint, it's gold. But this isn't the Gearbox that I knew. Not to me, anyway. This thing where they're just checking boxes. I just can't wait for Borderlands the movie. That's all Randy Pitchford fucking cares about, is that stupid movie. All that man sees is dollar signs. They made something badass because they were hungry. They were a small company that wanted to be more than a company that made ports. And it worked out for them, and I'm really glad it did because the world wouldn't get Borderlands without it. But once they got those, they literally took this whole area from Fallout 76. It's a church you go into during nuclear winter. But
Creepy.
in West Virginia, which is on the map. So at the bottom of the map, there's a church, and it's literally full of people that have been turned into scorched, and they're all stuck in place. Nah, he sees dollar signs. Mission.
Time for a shootout.
He should. He's a businessman, but you can see dollar signs and not go down the path that they're not doing the microtransaction thing. It's a different path. It's the path that Konami took with Metal Gear when they released Metal Gear Survive, where you just stick the name on it because you know it'll make money at this point. Like all the multiplayer Resident Evil games, it's that path. And you know they're taking it because remember everybody felt that way about the free sequel. It was like, oh my god, they're starting to just stick their name on the franchise like McDonald's just to make money off of it. And now it's to a point where people are like, free sequel is good. And thank God, Borderlands 3 is good. We're not talking about a bad game here. I wouldn't be playing it as bad. It's still good. It could just be so much more. As in, I should not be enjoying Outriders more than tell me somebody else who can take 30 milliliters of fucking NyQuil and somehow feel more energized afterwards. I mean, like, I'm drowsy, but I'm just pumping right now. Going on these obnoxious soapbox rants to an audience of one. That looks cool. Thick boy, big body. I like the VIP card, though. If you're still here, Adam, what do you think of the VIP card? I wish this would have been here 6 months ago. Months ago, absolutely, absolutely. You go ahead and give me your opinion, Adam. I want to hear it. I knew that we grew up with the same game around the same time in the same group. You and I were watching the same content creators. We were all part of that club with Mac and Goth and Baru. And we all know that there was no reopening that door once it closed, but since that door has closed for so long, why do you think there's been still so much emphasis put on the opinions of that group that hardly even play the game anymore?
Damn it. Where's the son of a bitch?
The thing that everybody in my mind forgets is Borderlands 2 came out in a very... It came out when it came out, and for the time that it came out, it was it. This is TK Ball all over again, but that's a pretty cool. That's really well framed. I will say something about Borderlands 3. The environments kick ass, and the lighting and the dressing that they've done of the levels for this DLC are really good. I've really enjoyed the areas and the way that the light has hit them.
Took a bullet in the mouth. Probably didn't feel a thing. What's he holding? Keys?
I'll make sure he gets a proper burial. Send him back to his family on Gehenna. I think he'd like that. Maybe those will open the locked door in his cabin. Go check it out.
Borderlands 2, there was no Destiny. The WoW was only on PC. So as far as consoles go, if you wanted a co-op, RPG, action, looter, shooter, Borderlands 2 was it, and it was a great game to boot. That game was Destiny. It was Destiny. And that's why you had those people. And now that it isn't, it's really hard to hold them. I loved every day waiting for Mac video on where to find new legendary on YouTube or Yodi Slayer video. Right. Yeah, there's so much nostalgia around that time period, and you know what? It's because at the time they were the king. And then when the competition came in, it's like all businesses ever. They refused to adapt and evolve with changing circumstances. You know what these games do is they mimic a keeping up with the Joneses effect. Destiny is the king of that shit. I gotta keep up with my buddies. They've all got this loot that's tier X. I need to get to tier X so that I can either show off and be ahead of them or at least be up with them. And Borderlands just doesn't, because it's not a social game, doesn't create the same feelings. I'm not saying those are healthy feelings, but I really believe that's a big part of what's going on. I also have no idea how the hell to get to this little area. Like when the headhunter bikes were about to drop, I was stoked. Now with the Borderlands 3 DLC, I'm like, cool. Like to me, I loved Borderlands at launch, loved it. Then when M4 hit, I started to fall off after a million modes, nerfs, and changes.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah, the ever-revolving door of balance changes have not helped this game's life cycle. Mayhem 2.0 was a disaster. It was super hyped up. In every hype video, they talked about it. Like, they really knew what they were doing. They've been watching streamers. They know that people want challenge, but they also want that power. They were getting incentivized going up through the power ranks. It was going to be hard, but it was going to be fun hard, and it was going to come with great reward. And then Mayhem 2.0 was a mess. Was a legit mess. The point, and again, they didn't fix that shit. They just gave us Mayhem 11. They gave us Mayhem 11 and they moved the fuck on. Because they've been super smart with their resources, but they also never seem to go all out. DLC was not that damn good. People are like, it's the best. It's Tiny Tina all over again. It's the best. It was the last one, so it's the best. No, it wasn't. It was the smallest. It had the least content. I don't like that last boss. Valhalla's cool, but it takes way too much shit to get into it, so it's not at all like the Scarlet DLC and its Vault, which was fun. And you could cheese it. So it does not engage in engender the same feelings of nostalgia, and the best DLC was Guyana. That Guyana DLC is really good in my mind. It has a lot of content. It introduced a whole new world. It has a lot of personality to it. I like the raid boss. I like the end boss. It's fun to farm. It's not difficult. There's good legendaries in it. There's a lot of cool side quests. There's really cool areas. It introduced new vehicles. To me, that was the best one. The third DLC was the best one. And to be fair, I thought they were all good. Just like Borderlands itself. I thought they were all good. There was just like, only the one to me was great. Spend Opticon was a really good first edition. They started off right. They kind of worked with, unlike Destiny or a lot of games or Division 2, like where they kind of reset what they've already done. Like, oh, you think they'd already know how to do this because they did that already, but then they like make the same mistakes over again. Like Borderlands 3 started with the right DLC because it's like, we're gonna hit the notes that you already know we're gonna hit. You're gonna get a few bosses to farm, some new legendaries, some new class mods, yada yada yada. That was, and guess what? From that point on, they all had side quests, they all had side collectibles, they all had their own bosses. Like, it was a full breadth of content. You got a full package. And that third the last DLC, the Krieg DLC, doesn't actually have that stuff. I think it has like shooting challenges, but there's not actually like 4 or 5 different collectibles. Second DLC even has its own bounty board. Like, they just kept going more and more. There was more and more content. And second DLC was even better than the first DLC. Third DLC was even better than the second. Again, more and more content. And the fourth DLC, the Krieg DLC, it's tiny. I like adding a raid boss, and they never did that nothing. Like, Borderlands 3 Krieg DLC was going to be that winter update, Battleborn update for the game. Yeah, you know, some people thought that way, but to their credit, I never heard them hype it. Like, yeah, people were like, yeah, it's Krieg, that's going to be dope, but what happened to the whole Gearbox makes the last DLC thing, and they make it right? It's the biggest one. They were all as big as Tiny Tina's Dungeon Keep, like about as big, which is good. The smallest one is by far the What am I missing? Because I've now done this whole little area. What the hell am I missing? How do I get underneath the cabin? I've run this whole area. And it's late. I feel really stupid. I feel really, really fucking stupid.
What in the hell? Hisn was working for the COV?
Oh, COV's hiding its tracks. Okay, I'm confident now we are going to get some big Borderlands story out of the quest line.
Did like you said.
I thought, oh, you thought. My bad. I'm saying they didn't hype it up. Yeah.
They got me showing their patrols.
Well, I
how
thought it was
to track
definitely going to be
the
that one big last final DLC like they normally do.
The crash ship? What does the jewel have? It is enough to know that they must.
The form is struggling.
You will change things so that the end will never be.
So, wasn't a kidnapping at all. Hisn was talking to himself. Part of him must have known how far gone he was and put a bullet in his own brain.
That doesn't explain how he knew about the family jewel. He must have been getting the information from somewhere.
There are plenty of demons that can chase a man without us needing to believe in hell, little lady. Thank you for your help, Vault Hunter.
It was really good. Second takedown, though. Second takedown, I haven't even attempted. It just looks like it's such a
Man's
pain in
mind
the ass.
shatters in the twisting green labyrinth of Eden 6. The question is, was it shattered for him? We don't know the answers, but we can be sure they'll be mysteriously.
Mysteriously.